Hi. I'm going to teach you about some dresses that I made. So over the past year, I've made an effort to try and connect with my extended family. People I've never met and probably will never meet. They live across the world and they have no intentions of coming to visit. They live in a scattered pattern across Poland, and I don't know their names, and I'm not entirely sure they know mine. There's a disconnect between me and that half of my family, even the ones who live in this country, even the ones who live in my home. There's a barrier that's been built between me and my last name. And over the past year, I've made an effort to peek over that barrier, to get to know my family for the first time. In grade 9, I heard a story about a student who made an axe handle and mended his relationship with his father. That's when I first considered hand-making something, using my hands to make something important, and then doubling its importance through craftsmanship, time, and care. So I made 2 dresses. These are traditional Polish folk costumes. They're worn during celebrations, holidays, and family events. They're meant to be made by hand. They're meant to be hand-sewn. They're region-specific. The colors and patterns change depending on where they were made. These costumes are made for family. These costumes were made to mirror ones from the place where my family is from, a part of Poland called Warsaw. I wanted to make something tangible, something tactile to remind me of family. When I started this first dress, called Fela, my focus was a lot broader than it is now. I wanted to see the nameless cousins and aunts that supposedly asked after me. But by the time it was done and ready to wear, my focus had sharpened. Once the dress was on someone, I had changed my goal. Instead of feeling for a distant, misty clump of people I'd never met, I wanted to try and know the family I had here, in my country and in my home. There's a long, prestigious line of not communicating in my family. There's a long history of shutting down conversations and pushing aside problems. That's where the divide comes from. It comes from generations of people being untreated and isolated. That's where the silence came from, and it built up over years and finally landed at my feet. So I made another dress. This one, called Malgorzata, was made to fit me. I had used my own measurements when making Fela, but this one was meant to be worn by me, not Ava. This one is looser and less fitted, and it has clearer intentions. It took upwards of 6 months to make. Most of that time was spent on the embroidery at the bottom of the second skirt. Hand sewing these patterns gave me time to consider my family, to consider everything that had fallen at my feet. These pieces are meant to be worn during joyous occasions, and I felt happy making them, but they carry a lot more than that. They're part of my heritage, both personal and cultural. They carry a long line of silence that my family has made for itself. They carry the passing of the problem through generations and the distance left in its wake. These pieces are about family, but they're also about the lack thereof. These are happy pieces. They're meant to show the good parts of family and culture, celebration and life. They're vibrant and colorful by design. They're meant to be joyous. The people who wear them are my chosen family. But there's a distance that they carry. There's an emptiness between the threads. While I'm making them, there's a lot of time I'm working with my hands. I have a lot of time to think. And I want to finish the family I've built for myself here. I want to give myself more of that time to think. I need more time to think, to forgive, to recover. Because seeing the long line of distance your family has built for itself doesn't make it hurt any less. Knowing that your family is a repeating cycle doesn't make fulfilling it any less crushing. I want to get to know my last name again. I want to give myself the time it takes to do that. I want to make my own axe handle. Making these pieces is the most fulfillment that I felt with creation. The tangled, wearable, imperfect mess that comes out of months of work makes them feel so much more important than anything else that I've made. And I think that importance, that sense of grandiosity, will help them do the job they were made to do. Help me to forgive, rebuild, help me to make a pre-existent family again.